What's up, YouTube? My Cowboys family back again, bringing you guys the latest updates on training camp. So today is Monday, July 31st, and let's get to it. So first things first, of course, Chaz Green's shoulder injury was the big news from yesterday. They did do an MRI, and the good news is it looks like it isn't as bad as we originally thought.
Yeah, no, that was a scary thing. They were saying that he had a rotator cuff from last couple seasons that actually they were scared might have been the issue. They weren't sure to do the MRI or not. They ended up doing it, which was good, and they found out it's going to be just a week or so. But he needs to really get back out there, because if not, Jonathan Cooper might just steal his job there as starting left guard. I believe that Cooper is we already know he's the penciled-in starter as of right now, depending on what happens with Chaz Green. But the only other guys we have behind him would be Byron Bell, which I think will challenge Cooper somewhat. It's a good push from him. He might make the team, I think, Bell. And Joe Looney, I think. He's a multi-purpose lineman. He could be center, he could play guard, he could play tackle. So he has a lot of qualities that you want to keep. I don't think he's very good at any of them, but he provides some depth as well. So they're going to be fighting for that starting spot. I believe that Chaz Green will come back, but I think they might be too late. I think Cooper's going to be able to, we'll see.
Secure the starting spot?
Yeah, I think he will, but preseason's going to tell a lot. So we'll see what happens with that.
So speaking of injuries, the rest of our injuries, of course, we spoke about Malik Collins. He is still day-to-day with the hip flexor injury.
Yep.
Jordan Lewis is also day-to-day with the hamstring. Ryan Suter is day-to-day with the hamstring as well. I think that wraps up all the injuries.
Yeah, for the most part. If you want to talk about somebody who was injured for almost 2 years, it's basically Jaylon Smith. He was back out there, but not the last 2 days. He was at practice, in the padded practice, which is good to see. And he was in full contact and the whole thing. So he looked a lot better. Just to get him out there is fantastic. I think he's a little bit even ahead of schedule in a way. But today's practice, this evening's practice, they actually held him out of practice, which is according to the plan they had set already for him.
Today was also Veterans Day of practice, so a lot of our veterans were not at practice today.
Took the day off.
Witten, Dez, Scandrick, Lee, Crawford, they all were not at practice today, giving some of our younger guys a chance to get some reps in.
And with Crawford, it's with him, even though he's not really that young, he is dealing with a little bit, little bumps from the past couple of years. We know he's always kind of injury prone, so he's kind of pushed in with the vets on that one, and just more of a resting day for him.
So in other big news dealing with our Cowboys, of course, Zeke and his big NFL verdict. Now, word is from an inside source in the NFL that the NFL will not be making any statements this week at all in regards to Zeke and his domestic violence assault allegations from last year.
Yeah, which already are dismissed by the police and all the investigators and the prosecution. They're not even prosecuting. So all these things, I don't know why they're waiting so long. We all have our theories. I don't want to get into that, but it's just too bad that they're going to definitely, no matter what, wait another week, which in the back of my mind scares me a little bit. But because they're trying to avoid this Hall of Fame game with Jerry Jones and the hoopla with that to really be dampered. So that kind of scares me a little bit that they're waiting another week. But I did hear that one of the lead prosecutors in the NFL investigation of Zeke from the 2016 incident is a woman that is a big-time Giants fan. So.
But no bias there, right?
Well, I'm not saying that, but I will say that if
Zeke will appeal it.
Any appeals this is gonna be brought up in the appeals, silly or not. It just seems that there's some kind of bias, maybe. Who knows? Anyways.
So, in some happier Zeke-related news, we did hear some word from Cowboys camp that Zeke is going to be a little more involved in the passing game this year than he was last year. So
I think that is going to be fantastic. I said this last season as well. I thought that they could have gotten the ball a little bit more on the outside, like in that Pittsburgh game, and they did it a lot, and especially in that big play. That's our longest play from scrimmage last year. So, I think that he's going to be very useful out of the backfield as a receiver. I think that's one of his skills that haven't really been
explored yet.
Yeah, exactly. We know it from coming from college. He was doing the blocking and the catching out of the backfield, and of course his running. But we haven't seen the catching out of the backfield. I think he was like 26th last year in all the old running backs as far as catches. I think he's going to be in the top 10 this year, and it's going to be a big impact in all phases of the offense. I did want to bring up one big kind of thing I saw, a consistent thing that I saw in our training camps, the video that I've seen coming from that, that we are running a lot of quick huddle plays and formations. You're basically coming out of quick huddle and just getting right to the line of scrimmage after a play. They're doing it with the second team and doing it with even the third team. So I've seen Dak run it. And the Cowboys, if they can master that, there's a lot of things if you can get that. Obviously, we're not going to want to see that the whole game, but it's nice. It would be nice to kind of break it out like the way Aaron Rodgers and the Packers do sometimes, catch teams off guard, especially if we're ready. I think also it gives good practice to our defense of switching in and out players in the middle of those kind of situations where we're playing against someone like Aaron Rodgers and he's going to rush you, or Tom Brady, he's going to rush you to the line. And you have to be ready to switch out or stay in with the personnel you have, with the speed and quickness of the rotation that we do use with Rod Marinelli. I think it's going to help us in practice doing this now when we get to game time. So we'll see what happens with that.
Seeing as how the Cowboys are kind of a team that likes to switch personnel a lot between plays, I think, like you said, it'll only benefit them if we can get our guys on and off the field just a little faster.
I agree 100%.
So with that said, of course, give us your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep up with all of our videos. And as always,
go Cowboys!